Hello everyone. I'm Sean Harris, taking Clinical Informatics with St. Louis University as part of my curriculum for the DNP program. I thought I should introduce myself since this is my first class and my first presentation at SLU, and put up a picture so you have a face with my name and in this case with my voice as well. I hope that you find the presentation that I'm about to give both useful and easy to follow. This week my classmate and I were to put together a show and tell presentation of how to display health data from an interactive web-based data table from the CDC Health Data website and from the healthdata.gov website that answers a health or healthcare question. The website I'll be using for this particular presentation is healthdata.gov. The health data question is: were high school students who participated in the 2011 Youth Risk Behavior Survey who reported being bullied in person, in this case on school grounds, more likely to report attempting suicide than those who were bullied electronically? This is the link to the website, www.healthdata.gov. We will click this link and it will take us to the website. This is the full screen for the healthdata.gov website. The great thing about this website is there are many ways to get to the information that we're looking for. For some people, that's a little overwhelming. But different people think in different ways. And so I actually like a website that offers you multiple opportunities or multiple venues in which to get to the same information. If you notice down at the bottom of the page, and I'll move my cursor, you can see the little icons for Medicare, Medicaid, epidemiology, treatments, and population statistics. The information that we're looking for could actually be found through population statistics or epidemiology. Another option is to go to the search data column that is in the left here in the middle of the page. You could just type in Youth Risk Behaviors, pick the subagency or not, and you could go to the subject area. I'm pretty sure that you would be able to get to it through children's health, epidemiology, population statistics, or safety. I chose to go to the top tabs because I knew to answer my question that I would be looking for a database. So it made sense to me when I first came to this website to click on data. And so I did. If you click on the data tab, I thought to myself, the information I'm looking for is like epidemiology. And so I went there. And you'll notice that when you choose, there'll be labels over here to the side as federal or state data. And it could be that you're looking for information like for the state of New York, or for the state of Arkansas, or the state of Missouri. But instead we'll be looking for federal data under epidemiology under the data tab. And I will type in Youth Risk Behavior because that's the survey that I know is the title I'm looking for, and hit search. And lo and behold, the Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System is the very first choice. I will select that. And then it brings me to the agency and program information. It has lots of information on this page about the data collection frequency, the data documentation, and you can even post comments. But since we're looking for a data set, I'm going to go to the data tab or the data link index.htm, and it brings me to this page. This is the data files and methods page. I would suggest that anytime you're looking at data, regardless of the type of database you choose, and you see here the data comes in various formats. and SPSS obviously is one that we're familiar with. And some people are very familiar with Access databases as well, and that's a Microsoft product that's available to a lot of people, whereas the other programs may not be. In this case, we were choosing 2011, so you want to make sure that you download the user manual. The user manual provides a lot of useful information, and I'll show you in a moment what I mean. In this case, I elected, for ease of the demonstration, to choose the Access database file. So I will select that to download. And I had already downloaded the user manual for 2011, and that is the year of my question that I wanted to ask. We can choose to save. So this will be saved in Downloads as a zip file. It's already there, but I'll replace it. For most people, it would not have been. Then I'm going to open it. I'm going to make sure that I extract it, and I like to use the wizard to extract files, and it will place it on my desktop for me. And then I will double click the file. Make sure you enable all content, and then select your table. And then this is actually the data, and you can see that the headers are not labeled with the question in the header. So that is where it's very important to ensure that you have the user manual. Here is a reminder of the question that we are trying to answer. Here is where the PDF of the user's guide is important. The user's guide should be used to locate the questions from the survey that answer your health question. The user's guide gives you the location of the data and the header title in the database, which is the variable name, and the numerical value placed in the database for the answer of each question. As you can see here, other information is also given to include unweighted frequency and weighted percentages. Now I have identified, for the convenience of this presentation, and show here on one page, that questions 22, 23, and 27 of the survey will be used to answer our question. When we sort or filter our data, we will need to use the yes answers from questions 22 and 23, which are assigned a numerical value of 1. And then we will need to use the 1, 2 or 3 times, 4 or 5 times, or 6 or more times of the value of the question during the past 12 months. How many times did you actually attempt suicide, which is question 27, or values 2 through 5. Now let's go back to our table in the Access database, and I'll show you the simplest method to filter and sum the totals of the values that we're looking for to answer a question. And I'm going to show you a way that, even if you're not familiar with Access databases, should be pretty easy. So here we are, back to our Access database. Now, we know that we need questions 22, 23, and question 27, and we'll need to look at question 22 with 27 and question 23 with 27 and look at the totals for the number of yes answers that also said that they were going to attempt suicide, or that they had attempted suicide. So the first thing we want to do, and again, I'm being very simplistic here and not using queries or anything very complicated. I'm using this much like you do an Excel database. So we're going to go to question 22. You'll highlight all those columns by holding down the Shift button and then continuing to move your cursor to the right until you get to column 22. Then make sure that your little cursor is in the top of the grayed area of the headers. Right click and hide fields. And then we're also going to hide 23 for the moment through 26. So right click again and hide fields. And then we don't need all the other ones either. So we're going to highlight 28, hold down the Shift button, and you can hold down the right arrow key until you get all the way to the very end or the far right of the spreadsheet. And there is a lot of information here. And again, right click in the gray area to hide the fields. And now we just have 22 and 27. We know that question 22 asks if they were being cyberbullied on school grounds. We know that 1 are yes answers, and we need the yes answers. So let's unselect all and only select 1, and click OK. On question 27, we know that items 2 through 5 are the only valid items that state that they attempted suicide. So if we click that, between the two columns, now we only have those that attempted suicide who were bullied on school grounds. We can also go up to totals in the middle of the page here, and you can see me highlight that. And then we come down to the total column at the bottom and take the drop down arrow and hit count. And the count is 403. So remember that number, 403. And now we need to compare how many were cyberbullied. And so we are going to hide column 22. And then we're going to right click, and you can see that underneath hide fields is unhide fields. And we are going to come down and unhide 23, so that we're looking at 23 and 27. But again, we need to go to the drop down arrow and deselect all, because we know that 1, or the value of 1, represents yes answers. And the total is 242. And so the number of people cyberbullied who attempted suicide is 242. Here you can see that the number of students bullied on school grounds, which is in person, that attempted suicide, is larger than the number of students cyberbullied that attempted suicide. So now we know the numbers who contemplated suicide from cyber and from in-person bullying. What we do not know yet is a related percentage. For that, we need the denominator. The denominator is obtained in the same way that we obtained the other numbers that I discussed earlier in the presentation from the Access database. This will give us our denominator. So the total number bullied, either in person or cyberbullied, is a total of 4,710. Therefore, the total number of those who reported attempting suicide who were bullied in person, as we already know, was 403. If we divide that by the denominator, or the total number bullied by cyberbullying and bullied in person at 4,710, that yields a percentage of those who attempted suicide who were bullied in person. This percent is 8.6%. As compared to the total number of those who attempted suicide who were cyberbullied at only 242 divided by 4,710 yields 5.1%. So a larger percentage of students at 8.6% reported attempting suicide who were bullied in person than those who were cyberbullied at only 5.1%. So the health data question, the answer is yes. Go to the www.healthdata.gov website, choose the Data tab, choose Epidemiology from the left-hand column, type the search terms in the search terms field, choose the most applicable search result, choose Data Series Location, choose Data Table Download in the format of your choice, download data, and download the user guide as well. Sort and extract the applicable data, and then utilize relevant data that will answer your question. I hope that you found this presentation helpful.